Today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers podcast is brought to you by betonline.ag, and the matchup for the Super Bowl is set. Got the Bengals going up against the Rams in the big game. Ike, a lot of time between now and then. If you want to place a bet on the Super Bowl action, a lot of prop bets, betonline.ag is the place to do it.
Hey, ain't no time like the present. So if you're thinking about betting, just make sure y'all go to betonline.ag. It's always open 365, 24/7.
Yes, sir. No, not just football either. Basketball, hockey, boxing, UFC. BetOnline.ag has the best, anything you want to wager on, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, cue the music. It's time to start the show. Welcome to the Bleav in Steelers podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mark Bergin, joined as always by my guy, two-time Super Bowl champion and 12-year veteran of the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 24, Ike Taylor. IT, we had to keep it in the family. Got some guests coming on today's show, part of the Bleav Podcast Network. I'm really fired up. The Monday after Conference Championship Sunday. We got a lot to discuss on today's show. How you doing this morning, my man?
I'm good, Mark, man. I hit one. I lost one. I went to betonline.ag. So I'm all good so far.
You're doing better than me, Ike. I was 0 for 2 in my picks, and I just need to listen to Ike Taylor. I can't really refute you. During the game, we were texting some. It was like, listen, I always joke around how you're a psychic. I think you might be a time traveler of how forward you thinking you are with your picks and how you can foresee what's going to happen before it does. But before I get too carried away, I want to welcome in our special guests from the Bleav in Seahawks podcast, Lofa Tatupu and Davern. Fellas, loaded championship Sunday. We're going to start with the NFC Championship game. I was hoping that would be the first game we saw. That was the back half, but Rams are heading to the Super Bowl after beating the 49ers. Lofa, we'll start with you. Just what was your big takeaway from Sunday's game?
Niners have a tough time holding on to double-digit leads in the fourth quarter was my big takeaway. And, it's tough. The Rams did do what they needed to get done. And even more so, I'm a man of my word. And, Brett was saying Stafford is the missing piece all along. And I was like, nah, bullshit. I didn't know how you gave up on Goff for Stafford, even with all the records. But, hey, Stafford's making me eat my words now. He stepped up when he needed to and brought them back and won the game. And that defense, of course, Ike, we know defense wins championships. So, right. they did what they had to do. And so I'm taking back everything I ever said bad about Stafford. This is the third week in a row he showed up on a big stage.
Brett, go ahead and hop in here.
No, yeah. Well, no, sorry, but if I'm allowed to jump in here, I just wanted to say an announcement to anyone who's listening in Los Angeles. You guys have a football team, and they are in the Super Bowl. So get excited about that. Nobody here in LA even realizes that there's a football team. I'm not kidding, guys. All of the kids here in LA love the Rams. Kids are obsessed with the Rams. All of their parents, they're from somewhere else and root for some other football team. So it's a weird time to be in LA, but hey, credits to the Rams. They're going to the big game. I thought it'd be the Niners. It's the Rams. And we'll see how many actual Rams fans show up to the game. Cause it was a lot of Niners there. A lot of Niner fans there.
I cop in.
Brett is unbelievable right now. I don't know, Brett. I was looking at SoFi. I was looking at the game yesterday, and there was a lot of stars.
Well, we have something in LA called background actors, formerly known as extras. You can get them at Central Casting. You pay them a day rate. They'll wear whatever you want, and they'll say whatever you want. And so we've got experience filling seats. Like at the Oscars, they have seat fillers. So
no. But on a for real note, I did have the 49ers beating the LA Rams. And the reason why just as well as you like Matthew Stafford, I don't like I didn't at the time like Matthew Stafford like that because I knew he was known to blow a few games, like out of his 13-year career, a lot of them. But at the same time, he was the missing piece. And then I had to retract what I said because Lofa, agree with me if you want, disagree if you want to as well. When you're starting hearing your own players, like when Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, when they were saying in the offseason, like, we finally got us a quarterback, they saw it before we saw it because they're with him every day, all day. They saw what they had with Jared Goff. Now they see what they have with Matthew Stafford. So in my mind as a fan, because I was looking at Matthew Stafford as a fan, is, man, I just know Matthew Stafford. Like, he's cool when you want to talk about arm talent. He probably has one of the best arm talents. When you want to talk about blowing away games, he blew a lot of games. But when you want to talk about Detroit Lions as an organization, I kind of get it. So kudos to Matthew Stafford, man. Sean McVay and GM, they was right about this. It would be more pleasing if they do win this Super Bowl, but I do have the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll talk about that too as well on the show. But at the same time, man, Matthew Stafford, when it was time for him to show up on the big stage, because Lofa, I'm pretty sure you and I agree on this. Let me see how he acts on the big stage. And he showed up and he came through 3 times in a row during these playoffs.
Yeah, went on the road and got it, came back home and you know, slayed the monster, the beast, because they're 0-6. Had to be in the back, you know, in the back of their minds. Stafford was 0-2 against the Niners, even giving up a 17-point lead in that last Week 17 matchup. So, yeah, he defeated a lot of demons with these last 3 games, and now he's got a chance to play for the ring. That's you know, the only thing really missing from his mantle.
Well, but also can we – oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, guys, I mean, you guys, I want to hear you guys talk about this because Cooper Kupp, I mean, Lofa, we keep talking about Cooper Kupp. How 10 catches, 130 something, right? Or maybe finished with even more. He's the number 1 receiver in the league. It's not like they're not covering him, but how is Cooper Kupp able to just take over every game from a receiver position?
Man,
I'll let Ike talk about this one since he's a receiver.
It's like there's no white guy faster than me, and I'm just like that's how you think as a cornerback. Like, this white dude ain't about to beat me. But little did they know, and this can start off with the Cincinnati Bengals. Chris Collinsworth had nothing but blazing speed, and he beat a lot of DBs. Jordy Nelson for Green Bay had a lot of speed, and he beat a lot of DBs. This Cooper Kupp kid, you can say what you want to say. He has the speed. The quickness, he's very explosive. They just looking at the young man because he's white. And that's just what it is, Brett. Because how out of 17 games, this dude stay open?
Still open.
Mm-hmm.
Stay open. I mean, what time it is? What time it is, y'all wait? It's 11:30 our way. What time it is, y'all?
8:30 over here.
He's still open.
He's still open.
Still open. So how in the world do you not know where number 10 at? Every time.
At all times.
Every time. But I know they thank you because, you know, I was once part of that. Like, man, I'm not about to let this dude beat me. And little did I know, you know, he got that deceptive speed. And before you know it, he's looking for the ball. And in the back of your mind, you're saying, oh, snap, this dude behind me. But Kupp, in my personal opinion, he needs to be the league MVP, bro. Like, there ain't no, like, you the whole that Triple Crown, like, ain't nobody doing. There ain't nobody. And to this day, he's pushing Jerry Rice records when it comes down to postseason, carrying over from the regular season. Like, Cooper, that dude, man. He don't say nothing. He go about his business. He make his play. He head back to the goddamn sideline. He look on the Microsoft Surface. He see what he needs to do. Okay, how can I get open again? Bam. That's just if you just draw up the perfect receiver, that's cool.
He's smooth, man.
The man stay open.
And let me piggyback off this too. Like, you know, we talk about the Triple Crown all the time, and you might say, well, Ike's got recency bias because now the Rams are headed to the Super Bowl. If you look at his receiving yardage total, it's the most of any receiver in NFL history. above the great Jerry Rice, who, in my opinion, is the greatest receiver the sport's ever seen. And so he keeps doing it time and time again. And what that does for the rest of the offense of a guy like, say, an OBJ and the production that OBJ has been able to have with the rest of this offense. To me, the Rams really went all in when they acquired OBJ, when he left the Browns, and when they made the trade for Von Miller. That was an all-in move. We're putting all our chips in the middle because the star power in LA, both of those two guys are playing. They're in the final year of their contract, so they might be a Ram beyond this season. They might be testing the waters and see, is someone else going to pay me more money in free agency? Rams are all in. It's paid off. It started with the acquisition of Stafford, but those two midseason acquisitions, you look at all of the star power that the Rams have, where it's like, let's go position group by position group. And it's like a who's who of who's an all pro or a Pro Bowl player.
No, the Rams been working on this all in though, Mark. If you, other than Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp, everybody with the star power name came through free agency. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the Rams technically has been working on this for a long time. Like you say, they just hit on something that was missing, and that was a quarterback. And I feel like Sean McVay finally got the quarterback that he wanted. Now I feel like Sean McVay is finally running his offense, Sean McVay offense. I thought at first between the LA Rams, when it first started, he wanted to bring that shiny toy, and that was slinging and passing the ball all the time with Matthew Stafford. Once Sean McVay got back to what he do, and that's play action pass, that's running the ball, that's working the middle. Now you see what the Rams is doing. But yeah, I thought as far as like star power, we knew Aaron Donald was that man. I'm sure everybody in LA knew Aaron Donald was that man. I'm sure everybody in LA as well knew Cooper Kupp was that guy. We just didn't get to see him enough. But you want to talk about Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford. That's a hell of a starting five. And we ain't even talking about basketball.
Damn straight.
Brett and Lofa, I've got to ask you, are both of you ready to say bon voyage to Jimmy G as the 49ers quarterback, QB who plays in the NFC West Division?
I hope not, because I don't want to play him for several more years. But, yeah, I mean, you drafted a young guy in Trey Lance. I mean, you know, the writing's on the wall. And then just the way they were winning in spite of Jimmy G, you know, unfortunately. And the fact that they're ready to move on. And I don't know who it's going to be. But, I mean, it could be a guy by the name of Aaron Rodgers, who's from the Bay, and you could see him heading back up there. But, yeah, unfortunately for them, you know, I mean, just look at the way the game ended last night. It was like, man, just take the sack. Like, they don't have much. They don't have any timeouts left or whatever. The clock rolls down, you go to overtime. But just he couldn't even get the ball out of bounds, unfortunately tipped off the running back's hands right into the DB's hands. But either way, that's still a horrible decision. And, you know, it's tough. That's a tough way to go out, especially when they were on a roll. But I was just questioning, you know, their game plan, you know, even putting it in his hands as many times as they did. Go back to their first matchup, and they ran the ball like 45 or 46 times, just with all these creative gap trap schemes, powers, counters, fake toss, you know, and it was incredible. It was one of the most masterful coaching jobs I've ever seen by Kyle Shanahan, he was down injury-wise with some guys, and they took it to the Rams. And I think by going away from that game plan, even in Week 17, they fell down early, you know, but they didn't completely abandon the run. They got back in, and they won that in overtime. And then now, it came down to quarterback play, as we've been saying. And Jimmy G he doesn't look like he's that dude. He got weapons. Deebo Samuel is my favorite player to watch right now, which is crazy because I'm a defensive guy. He plays like a defensive guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I want to see Shanahan really break the mold and show us this quote-unquote true offensive genius that he really is. And next season, just let Deebo do everything. Forget having an actual QB or someone who played quarterback in college. No, seriously, like, just let him take the snap. I'm sure he can throw it a little bit. He can definitely run it. We know that. I mean, the guy's an absolute beast. Like, maybe, we've had the Wildcat and all that kind of stuff for a few years, but I'm talking about even something different than that. If they are going to move on from Jimmy G, like Deebo, the guy can do everything.
He did throw as far as I'm concerned to Jennings in that Week 17 matchup.
I thought
the 49ers got away from their bully ball. They got it was that by bullying other teams, and that's their run game, like you were saying earlier, Lofa. And I thought they got away. I thought Coach Cal kind of he relapsed and he went to his Atlanta days, and he went he wanted his quarterback to outshine the other opposing quarterback, which is something Jimmy G doesn't do too well. You know what I'm saying? Your recipe and what and I look at the GM, and the reason why I say bully ball, they GM played bully ball. John Lynch played bully ball when he played. So when he's looking at players and when he's drafting players, and he's drafting a hard-nosed, tough son of a guns, all they want to do is play football players. He's not worrying about height, size, and speed. All John Lynch is looking for some football players. And if you look at their roster, that's exactly what they have. You look at how they play and the style they play, then you look at their general manager. This is how their general manager play. I thought Coach Kyle got away from that. Coach Kyle wanted to finesse things because him and Coach Sean McVay was once on the Washington Redskins football team together, coaches. Now they split apart. They both being successful in the league, but I just thought he just got away from what the San Francisco 49ers do well, and that's playing bully ball. So that's just my personal opinion, though.
Well, you know what really bugs me, guys, and Lofa, I mean, it has to bug you too, as the guys who do the Seahawks podcast here on Bleav, watching the Rams and the 49ers in this game, and now, of course, the Rams headed to the Super Bowl, but our Seahawks, who I Bleav owned the Niners this year and did pretty good against the Rams. I mean, we're kind of thinking about what might have been if it had not been for an injury to Russell Wilson and who knows what other kind of dramas going on up here with our team. But, I mean, right, Lofa? Like, weren't you kind of watching that game going, man, wish we could have been
brutal.
There.
I mean, it's brutal, man. It's two of your rivals. You're not happy for either one of them. Because they're going on to the Super Bowl, and just like I said,
also just based on how we played them this year.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we did what we got back to our identity, which was defense and run the ball. And then once that opens up and they commit that eighth defender into the box, now we air it out. We throw the DK, we throw the Lockett, all those things. But so we, much like I said, we got away from our identity. The Seahawks I'm talking about, and we ended up a game or two out of the playoffs.
Well, Brett, if the NFL ever reconfigures its overtime rules, maybe they can figure out a way to where both teams can lose. That sounds like it would have been ideal for you folks over there in Seattle.
Yeah, that would have worked out well for us. We like that.
So, Lofa, I got a question about Seattle since we dealing with the Seattle and Steelers podcast. Will Russell Wilson be there next year?
I don't think so. We've been talking about this.
You don't think so? Yeah. Wait a minute. What? No, that's breaking news on here.
I said it on the last one. I said he wants out.
What? I need to listen to our show.
Yeah. You need to listen to me when I talk next time. So it wasn't even 20 minutes from the report that owner Jody Allen met with Pete and John. Not even 20 minutes went by before another notification popped up on my phone that said Russ is ready to explore options, which was news to me because when you're under contract, you don't have options. So right. I wonder how that report got leaked, who put it out there, and there's still chatter about that. And I said it if there was noise at 12-4 when we won the division last year, what's going to happen when you go 7-10, which we did, and
right,
but. The only thing that is going, on our side, Sean Payton retired, and that was one destination that was circled a year ago because New Orleans, they have a great team, and he's done a hell of a job, through COVID and everything. Because he was playing with a rookie quarterback for 2 weeks there, and still was in the playoff hunt, and he was just a quarterback away, from going to the playoffs again, and probably a chance at a ring with that defense. So right. I really think there's too much talk going on for there not to be some truth there to some of those rumors, and I think he wants out.
Gotcha.
I think just like any bad relationship, we're gonna go for one more, and we'll see what happens after that. I really do because. Well, like Lofa said, he's under contract, so exploring options, and there's all that kind of messiness there with that kind of stuff. You guys know more about that side of the business than I do, but I really just think that based on the injury, based on how the year ended up, them kind of finishing strong, Pete and John clearly are going to still be here. I think they keep it together for one more, and I think if we have the same thing happen next year that happened this season, then it truly, you kind of confirmation of where this thing is headed, and I think it would truly be over. But like with Sean Payton retiring, like you said, Lofa, like I don't know, man. I don't. They would have to trade him at this point or cut him, which we obviously.
I think he'd be willing to waive his no trade clause. And I'm wondering, like, do you Bleav if he goes in, if he goes to the Steelers? Because you guys are in need of a quarterback right now. I know.
Don't even stop.
I know. I'm going there, Brett. But if he goes in there and he walks in, do the Steelers become? Do they become Super Bowl contenders? Instantly, kind of like a Matthew Stafford happened in LA.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they made the playoffs, but everything had to fall in line this year. Even with Big Ben and his veteran leadership and him not being as mobile as he once was, they still got in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? So now you still got a lot of guys in their prime and a lot of young guys who got a lot of playing time because a lot of veteran guys have got hurt for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they're going on a second and third year when it comes down to, experience. Yeah, I think automatically that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers do need. They need a Russell Wilson. They need Jimmy Garoppolo. They need a Kirk Cousins. They need an Aaron Rodgers. They need one of them because you have in the AFC a Joe Burrow, a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a Justin Herbert, a Josh Allen. That's what you facing in the AFC right now. You facing you facing 5 studs that are all young and they ain't even hit their prime yet. And they're going to be going back and forth with Super Bowls till whenever they retire. So yeah, to give the Pittsburgh Steelers a chance, Lofa, you have to get veteran guy if you want a shot, especially dealing with them 5 guys I just named at the quarterback position in the AFC.
Yeah.
Well, and if Russell went to the Steelers, I mean, he's used to taking shots and getting hit. So he'll be all right with that over there at the Steelers. You know what I mean?
See, that's the glass half full in me would be to say you look at the Steelers skill position players. Juju Smith-Schuster is like the elder statesman, and he's 25 years old. Now, I don't expect him to be back in a Steelers uniform. We'll see how that plays out. He's due to become a free agent. But you do have a lot of youth at your skill position players, the Najee Harrises of the world, the Deontay Johnsons of the world, 2 Pro Bowl alternates who will now play because the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, might I add. Pat Freiermuth had a really good rookie season for the Steelers. Hopefully Chase Claypool can continue to improve. But you have a lot of youth at your skill position players. Brett, you're stealing my thunder a little bit here because you've heard me say this many times on our show before. Steelers ranked near the bottom of the league with salary cap allocation along the offensive line at about $12 million for the 2021 season. You get what you pay for in life, and that's near the bottom of the league, if not dead last. So part of that is you're starting 2 rookies on the offensive line, Dan Moore Jr. at left tackle, Kendrick Green at the center position, Kevin Dotson, a second-year player at the left guard position. They'll get better with experience, but you've got to spend some capital, maybe a free agency, maybe a trade, maybe in the draft, to upgrading that offensive line to replace players like a Marquise Pouncey, David DeCastro, all pro players when they were, doing their thing for the Steelers, a team that's known for running the football. So again, kind of glass half full. I've got skill position talent. Glass half empty would be, let's get a better offensive line.
Russ isn't escaping like he used to either. Let's be honest about it. I mean, he's not Big Ben level status of.
He's not going to sit like a statue in the pocket either, like Seven was doing.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. So if you, we're not talking about the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. The fact that Joe Burrow can move. If you listen and if you watch it, the fact that the man got sacked 9 times in the Tennessee Titans game, 9 times.
Mm-hmm.
9 times.
In 51 in the regular season too, Ike.
Yeah.
So my point exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, when you do have an offensive line, you do need a quarterback who can somewhat be mobile. And Russell Wilson, when it comes down to mobility, he's way more mobile than Seven at his time. So
true.
Well, we're all more mobile than Ben at this point. But Russell, the thing is though, Ike, I gotta tell you, like,
Brett, I'm gonna let you talk about my quarterback like that. I can talk about my quarterback. I'm not gonna let you talk about my quarterback like that.
Look, gone are the days when he's able to scramble around and then leave the ball on the 1 yard line, Ike, with his head across the goal line. Those days are gone. That was Super Bowl 40. All right. But talking about Russell though for a second, Russell is not that quarterback, though, that he was in those first few years when he's scrambling around making those sort of backyard football plays. Every once in a while, one will crop up and you'll see it on Sports Center. But for a lot of the game, and Lofa, we talked about this all season, like, he is not escaping the way that he used to. I'm not going to say he lost a step or whatever, but the guy gets hit a lot. Yeah. He's had injuries, not just the injury this year, but he's played through injuries, ankle injuries, knee injuries. He had one against the Miami Dolphins like 4 or 5 years ago.
Of course, Brett, he's going to be injured. If y'all make it defensive lineman, offensive lineman. If y'all make it linebackers, offensive lineman, y'all make it wide receivers, offensive lineman. Of course,
all I'm saying is, dang it!
Oh, shit.
All I'm saying is if you're bringing in Russell Wilson because you think he can escape, he's just not that dude like he used to be. That's all I'm saying.
He still is that dude. He just seldom uses it, man. He doesn't use it.
I don't know.
Hey, Brett, bro, y'all, they putting me at left guard. They putting Loaf at right. they putting you at center. And they put Mark at the other right tackle. Man, of course the man gonna get beat up. He gonna get hurt. That's exactly what's going over there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He wants help here in Seattle on the offensive line. So going to Pittsburgh, I'm not really sure how that would help him. From a Seahawks fan perspective,
that would be a way better upgrade. You know what? I'm gonna ask you.
That's right.
I'm gonna ask you. Do you think it'll be a better upgrade if Russ is in Pittsburgh? For Russ's sake.
Well, I mean, they have to figure out what to do with Dwayne Brown, who's obviously getting older and at the end of his career and all that. So they got to figure that out. But I mean, maybe ? No. Honestly, I mean, Russell Wilson is still taking the most sacks in the league, isn't he? Or towards the top of the list.
Why?
Well, offense has a lot to do with it, but you watch the games. He does not spin out like he used to. And I think that, speaking of Big Ben, he's a lot bigger than he ever has been in his career and stuff like that. But this is all beside the point. I wanted to say, or it is exactly the point. But anyway, the point is that I want to move on, because what I wanted to say is that, and we've talked about it on our show, if he's going to go anywhere, I'd rather have it be somewhere where we get something in return a bit right away, sort of in the form of like a Jalen Hurts or like a Philly situation where we can get someone with a little bit of talent. No, but I'm saying we can get someone back who can play right away while we're waiting to find the dude, because that other dude is not in the draft right now. So if you ship Russell Wilson out of town, I don't know who you're getting back. You need to get somebody.
Brett, we can offer a ham sandwich.
Sending our way. Huh?
If I'm a quarterback, I do not want to go to see, bro.
We'll take TJ Watt.
I do not go to Seattle. If I'm not how y'all draft for y'all offensive lineman. Really, y'all don't even draft for offensive line. You know what? No. I'm gonna go to Starbucks and I'm gonna get the biggest dude I see come in and I'm gonna put him on the offense. That's exactly what y'all do in Seattle. Hell no. If I'm a quarterback, I do not want to go there. At least Pittsburgh draft offensive lineman. Brett, at least we draft offensive lineman.
Hang on. I got a few things to clarify here, Ike. So the Seahawks' first pick in the 2022 draft will come in the second round with the 41st overall pick. So if you're looking to get offensive line help in the draft, it's not going to come till the second round at the earliest. The Steelers have not drafted an offensive lineman in the first or the second round in the draft. For the last 9 drafts, David DeCastro was the last Steelers offensive lineman drafted in either the first or the second round. I've got to clarify that. Otherwise, our listeners and viewers will have a field day in the comment section, Ike.
And that's exactly what we want them to have. We want them to have the field day. That's exactly what we want.
It's spelled Brett, B-R-E-T-T. Get it right.
That's wild, Brett, man. 9 years.
Yeah. I found that surprising, too, because you think of Steelers football, you think of running the ball. In 2020, they finished dead last in the league in rushing. Okay, that's why we go on and draft Najee Harris in the first round. It's a bit improved, but that's really the only improvement the Steelers offense made in the 2021 season. Brett, I wanted to ask you.
Hold on. Wait. I just want to make one more point. because you're talking about what the Steelers have and why Russell should go there. But let me say why he should stay in Seattle, because we still have a lot of talent here. I mean, DK, Tyler Lockett, you got a bunch of offensive pieces. Rashad Penny finished up the season strong. We don't know what's going to happen there. And a defense that was coming on towards the end of the year, right, Lofa? I mean, there's plenty to stay for here in Seattle.
DK got one more year here, and we're not going to be able to pay him, bro.
All right. So then your point, Lofa, is we're just packing it in. Let's just blow the whole thing up. And I mean,
build a defense, get some O-linemen. I think that's, showing a very successful way to win Super Bowls. That's what we had when we won the Super Bowl in 13. That's what we had Marshawn Lynch and a defense. And Russell was a second-year guy. Awesome. And it seemed like we went from running the ball, and this is, very similar to Steelers. I mean, you just mentioned having drafted an O-lineman in 9 years, and it's like you're going spread empty all of a sudden instead of when you were a power running team. And it's just like almost evolving or changing a philosophy and identity that we've talked about, and getting away from what has consistently been the blueprint to get to the Super Bowl, a run game. And even when we met back in 2005, both could run the ball and both had defense, and that's the truth. And and so that's what it takes, man. I know quarterbacks get a lot of money, they get a lot of talk, a lot of the fame, but end of the day, running the ball, only one guy can say consistently he got the shit fucking done. Tom Brady. Well, all right, that's the only guy that can say, "Hey, quarterback's important." I'm not going to listen to anybody else that tells me quarterback's that important.
Look, we obviously got to step it up, but I mean, one pretty bad season with a big injury in the middle of it. I'm just not necessarily ready to jump completely off the ship. And also, let's remember that Tom is now out of the way in the NFC for Russell. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers still, but we'll see what happens with that. Mm-hmm. So with Tom now gone, it does crack open a little bit of a window. So I'm not really sure if he wants to jump over to the AFC, where, like Ike pointed out, I mean, they're kind of rich with quarterback talent right now.
It's deep over there, man. Yeah.
Fellas, we will take a quick break to say that today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers podcast with the Bleav in Seahawks hosts is brought to you by Masterworks. And we talk all the time about our different sponsors, but Masterworks help people invest in art. So you can invest in art using Masterworks and with icons like Picasso and Monet. So excited to have them on as a new sponsor of the Bleav in Steelers podcast.
Man, I'm so happy because I need to talk to Masterworks to see if they're going to see if Pittsburgh, if they can Picasso, and see if Pittsburgh can draw up or get back to the art of running the football and drafted offensive rounds.
Your ad reads are the absolute best. So for our viewers and listeners, if you go to masterworks.com/Bleav, that's on your screen right now if you're watching this stream, masterworks.art/Bleav, that's BLEAV. See important disclosures at masterworks.art/Bleav, BLEAV. Excited to have them on as a new sponsor. Fellas, we'll go to the AFC Championship, where the Bengals are headed to the Super Bowl after an 18-point comeback victory against the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at Arrowhead Stadium. Chiefs led this game 21-3. And to me, this game came down to this play right before the end of the first half, keeping the Chiefs out of the end zone. I thought that was absolutely vital. Kansas City wasn't really the same. They only scored 3 points in the second half. This game was won and lost on that play, in my opinion.
Who wants to start with this one?
If you guys believe that big of a pause, I'm jumping in, man. That play was absolutely ridiculous. First of all, I called for smoking Joe Burrow on last week's episode. I picked the Bengals boldly and confidently. I knew they were going to win this. I knew that the whole time. And that play right before half, I swear, I turned to Mrs. Davern and I said, there it is. The Bengals are going to win. Because you could just see it. I mean, the Chiefs, they needed to score there. Completely boneheaded by all of them on that play, honestly. Like that, it was bad. And a field goal there, you wouldn't have been going to overtime at the end if all things would have stayed the same, right? So, and I'm riding Joe. You guys can see my background, especially as a Seahawk fan. There's no way I'm rooting for the Rams, especially since no one in their own hometown is even rooting for them anyway, or knows that they exist. So anyway, I'm going to ride that one all day. But and along with Joe Burrow, he's my guy. Let's go Bengals.
Jackpot Joey, I agree with you. Mark and I talked about this on the show. I had the Bengals winning. I had the 49ers winning as well, but the 49ers obviously lost, so they won't be attending the Super Bowl. But Jackpot Joey, man, I just saw something different in him when he was at LSU. And then when you look at LSU, everybody say, he had these good wide receivers, and he did. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and company and Clyde Edwards. He had some guys sitting over there. But at the same time, man, they forgot he was at Ohio State. So what Jackpot Joey did, he bet on himself. That mean, you know what? I'm going to leave Ohio State, which was known for having quarterbacks, and I'm about to slide down to LSU because LSU, all they needed was a quarterback. And then when you get the guys and you get the coaches talking about Jackpot Joey at LSU, it's just like he's always calm, cool, and collective. He has a major inner confidence level. Major. Like, he's not cocky. But you can understand, what you can't understand is if you look at Jackpot Joey on the sideline, you don't know if the Cincinnati Bengals are winning or losing because they're always keeping his composure. So and that's what you want as a young quarterback. It just so happened this is his second year and he's playing like light years ahead of his time. And we got to deal with this guy. We, as in the Pittsburgh Steelers and just the NFL in general, got to deal with Jackpot Joey. And his teammates love him. I don't know if they're going to say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if they'll say the same thing about a lot of other quarterbacks. Yeah, he's good. He's good to work with. He for sure will be a Hall of Famer, but he's not one of us. He's not one of the guys. Patrick Mahomes is one of the guys. Jackpot Joey, he's one of the guys. Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, they're one of the guys. So when you're one of the guys and you happen to be the guy, it makes it even better. So for sure, you're not going to work. You're going to see your brother. But just to look at Jackpot Joey get hit 9 times in the Tennessee game, come back from 11 against KC the first game, then come back from 11 against KC the second game, and the man just still looking the same, and he never wavers. And then it's his swag off the field. Like, Jackpot Joey swag off the field is everything about him. In Cincinnati when he was doing his press conference a couple of weeks ago, it had to be cold because it's just cold around this time. Jackpot Joey got shades on like he about to hop on a bike and damn that tattoo. So that's letting you know that, man. That's I'm riding with Jackpot Joey all day, Brett.
Yeah,
me too, man.
Ike said it best, man. And this is all coming off of an ACL tear his rookie year, right? So it's incredible. After getting sacked 9 times to go to KC, they were applying pressure. He was getting out of the pocket as he needed to and still making throws. And it's wild because this is the first game. It was eerily similar to the matchup they had earlier in the year. Kansas City up in Cincinnati, Kansas City up by 10 or 17, whatever it was, only scored 3 points in the second half. The same thing happened here. Only scored 3 points in the second half. Ended up losing the game. It was wild. It was the first time I saw Mahomes not be Mahomes. And from the decision before the half to throw that ball to Tyreek and not throw it out of bounds or throw it in the dirt, just to kick the field goal. You can't just put that on Mahomes, but as the MVP, and he's been to 2 Super Bowls already, I feel like he's got the IQ to get rid of that ball. He wanted to give his playmaker a chance in Tyreek, and we've seen what he can do, but it didn't happen. The moment that play happened, I said to my 2 friends that I was watching the game with, I go, yo, it's over. And I looked over, they showed Joe Burrow, and he was just like, he just nodded his head like, okay, let's go. And it was insane, man. And, the defense, they picked off that screen. The big guy, I forget his name, but he tipped that screen up in the air and took it back, gave him the ball right back after they scored. There's a lot of things that went right for him, but you can't let Joe Burrow hang around. You just can't. He's that dude. With every game, his confidence and legend is just building. And so,
but he still never lost a playoff game ever in his whole time playing football ever in high school, college, and the pros. Has never lost a playoff game.
That's crazy.
That's insane, right?
Bananas, right?
Insane stat.
Yeah.
And Lofa, how about for Seahawk fans? shout out to Trey Flowers doing his thing. I mean, if the Seahawks aren't going to keep playing and go deep into the playoffs, Trey's there. And he had a tough time here in Seattle, especially at the end. Fans always all over him and stuff like that. So shout out to Trey and wish him well. And I like seeing him play well and seeing the Bengals play well and seeing him advance and stuff. And I'm happy for him.
Yeah, pumped for him, man. I mean, from the season he was having here, and I've said since for the last 3 years, them playing him out of position, to have all the bullshit he had to pull up with, and his players, it's like, man, it's not like we're not trying out there,
Right.
And I don't think we put him in the best position. He goes over there, he's going to the Super Bowl, and I mean that's a storybook year, and I hope he plays his ass off, man. He's a great kid.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this. Lofa, I'll start with you, because between you and Ike, you have decades of NFL defensive experience. In that second half, Chiefs go punt, interception, punt, field goal, interception, and overtime. What was that adjustment that you saw that the Bengals made from a defensive standpoint that really stymied the Chiefs offense? Lofa, I'll start with you.
I mean, I thought, their pressure was getting there, and not even just when they were sending blitzes, but and this is, again, where I said Mahomes didn't look like Mahomes. Even the sack he took, that almost knocked them out of field goal range, except for they had Butker, who's a great kicker. You could see the look on Mahomes' face like, oh, shit, did I just give them the game? Because you can't take that sack. And so just little things that they were doing, disguising coverage, and I can probably speak more to that, but they weren't tipping their hand, they were on the snap. They were doing post-snap stuff that would, it's okay. Now you think he's got covered 3, and now all of a sudden it's, split field safety. And it's just like, okay, where'd that guy come from? So things that make you have to think on the run, and Pat's one of the best at it, but for whatever reason, he didn't have it. I mean, he did in the first half, 15-17, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Second half, ghost town, man. He didn't have anything. So, give him credit to them.
Since he started playing more aggressive on defense when it came down to bump and run, as far as a linebacker, a cornerback, a safety position, what they did in the first half was they let the guys run around free. McCole Hardman, Cheetah, they let them guys just run. They wasn't putting their hands on them. In the second half, they wind up getting up on the line of scrimmage, putting their hands on them, rerouting those guys. What they took away from Patrick Mahomes was they took away the middle. They dared Patrick Mahomes to make deep passes outside the numbers, and that's something he didn't want to do. Because usually when Patrick Mahomes, other than when Hardman caught that long bomb, Patrick Mahomes liked throwing the ball in the middle. Whether it's Tyreek going on a crossing route or whether you see Travis Kelce doing this thing. The only thing they have outside the numbers is them quick screen passes. You get the ball in the receiver's hands, you get the lineman out in front, and there you go, you got an entourage. But other than that, the Cincinnati Bengals, they say, you know what, the second half, we're going to take the middle away from Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball. And that's exactly what they did. They dared him to throw outside the numbers, and that's what he didn't want to do. Got frustrated. Same result as a couple of weeks ago. Up by 17, 18 points, wind up scoring only 3 points in the second quarter. But you want to talk about adjustments, man. That's exactly what the Cincinnati Bengals did, man. They adjusted very well on the defensive side, especially in that second half. But from what I saw, my personal opinion, they took away the middle from Patrick Mahomes on the easy throws to his guys on the other side of the ball.
Well, and they almost won the game right before the final pick anyway. It was almost a pick right before the pick. So
the fumble, if Patrick Mahomes fumbled, if one of his offensive linemen didn't pick that ball up, the game would have been over.
Yeah.
You had the interception too. Was it Eli Apple, the corner?
Yeah, it was almost a pick 6 to win it in overtime. Yeah. Right before the interception.
The other interception. Yeah.
Smoking Joe the ball back. I have a zone-in question for you guys. We zone in on our show because Lofa's company, Zone In CBD, is the best CBD in the game. ZoneInCBD.com, and use our promo code Bleav, spelled our way. Or sorry, that's Lofa's line. Lofa, the promo code is
Bleav. Yeah. BLEAV.
I didn't mean to take the line from you. You get 20% off. The zone in question, guys. This is off the top of my head, but is smoking cool again? All these guys are smoking cigars after all these wins. I'm just saying, Everybody's smoking cigars now after these wins, and all the commentators and all the TV coverage is like, "Oh, he's going to be smoking," and everyone's like, "We love the smoking now and stuff."
Yeah.
Ike is in his glory right now. Ike, the floor is yours.
You're talking my talk because I got my own cigars.
Are you a cigar guy, Ike?
Yeah. So next time y'all just go to howardgcigars.com. Make sure y'all get y'all a one of a kind because my cigar is one of a kind. Matter of fact, it's been rated number 89 out of 100 in Cigar Snob, the newcomer of the year. That's my cigar. So, yeah, after we get off this, after I do my 5.3 mile run, I will go to Corona, which is a cigar bar. I will light me a one-of-a-kind cigar. So, yeah, cigar smoking is cool. Just like if you need to zone in CBD.com and use your promo code, that's cool as well. So there you have it. Whether you're zoning in, or whether you're smoking a one-of-a-kind cigar, by the end of the day, once you get done with it, you're going to be feeling good and happy.
That's it, man. I got to talk to my producer here. You hear Ike's afternoon? I got 6 more podcasts to do today. What? Man.
I might have something a little bit different in my cigar up here in the Pacific Northwest, but, it's still all love.
Hey, every region has its own way of being happy.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I have the tall task of trying to come after Ike's masterpiece there. But what I will say is after the game, I saw one of the beat writers said cigar smoke is pouring out of the Bengals locker room after a victory. They're headed to the Super Bowl for the first time in like 30 years. So shout out to them. But yeah, I mean, listen, there's a time and place for it. And after winning a conference championship game, you've got the 2 weeks off too to figure things out between now and the Super Bowl. A lot of time to recover. Celebrate. Why not? Like, the Bengals haven't been this victorious in quite some time.
Well, if you're going to do it, though, do it like Ike or Joe and do it right, because there's other guys that have tried to get in on this cigar smoking trend after championships. It doesn't look right. Like, did you guys see Stetson Bennett from Georgia? He's like, couldn't keep the thing lit. He's like, not sure what to do with it.
Rookie.
I'm just saying.
Hey, man, that's what it is. Sometimes you gotta crawl before you walk anyway. And you said it right, Lofa. He's definitely a rookie because y'all almost burned his hand trying to light that cigar. I was at the game. I was at the game. So I did see that rep. But if anybody, first of all, shout out to betonline.ag. 1, shout out to zoneincbd.com. 2. Shout out to One of a Kind Cigars. 3. 4. Shout out to the Bleav in Steelers, Bleav in Seattle podcast. 5. 6. Shout out to Bleav in Family podcast. Boom.
Oh man, it's starting to sound like the Super Bowl halftime show with all these shout outs.
You got that right. They're paying us.
Before we sign off here, fellas, I got to go across the board. Brett, I'll start with you. We're in universal agreement that the NFL overtime rules are they're all good after Sunday's result, yeah?
I don't have a problem with the overtime rules. Play some fucking defense. All these guys bitching about.
And special teams. Special teams.
Play some fucking defense.
Tell them how you feel, Lo.
It's part of the game. You can cry, we didn't get a fair chance. We didn't get the ball. Go play defense.
Yeah, it does sound like kind of like the weakest kid in the neighborhood sometimes after overtime. Yeah. Like, I didn't get to have the ball. Well, then go take it back. Or call the other thing on the coin flip. I don't know. What do you want from me?
I mean,
a little whiny.
Like you said, the Bengals, man, they went and kicked off, NFL MVP. And they went down and they finished the game. So, yeah, I hope that put it to rest.
I do like how you can't just win it with a field goal, though, right off the bat. I like that they changed that part of it years ago. That seemed right to me. But I'm kind of fine with it.
Play special teams.
I'm cool with it. But we got to start giving the Cincinnati Bengals defense their props. We're not talking about them enough.
Yeah.
To hold Patrick twice. They held Patrick Mahomes twice to little to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
3 points, twice in 2 games in the 4 quarters.
In the second half.
And shutting down, even Derrick Henry was coming off injury, but to go into Tennessee You know, after winning a home game, you know, you thought they might have taken a breath and been like, oh, but no, they went over to Tennessee, beat the number 1 seed on their you know, soil. And, you know, so they're dangerous right now. They are dangerous.
They're looking like the 05 Pittsburgh Steelers.
I didn't want to fucking say it. But yeah, they are. All right, we can end on that note. Shit.
Hopefully they win the game on the field, though, and they don't leave it up to the guys in the striped shirts. Hopefully for this team, they win the game on the field.
Oh, my God. That's a wrap.
Lofa and Brett, it's been a lot of fun. Do you guys want to plug your show at all or your social media pages at all before signing off here?
I don't even think Brett heard you. No, we good, man.
Zoom messed up. I'm sorry, guys.
All good. I was just want to give you the opportunity of how, you know, people can listen to or watch your show, the Bleav in Seahawks podcast.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. So check us out on any podcast app. Just Bleav in Seahawks, spelled the Bleav way, BLEAV. We're also on all social media at Bleav in Seahawks, whether it's Instagram or Twitter. And you can find Lofa and I on social media, too. Lofa is unverified on Twitter, but verified on Instagram. And I'm verified on both because I was on Shameless one time.
He loves bringing that up. I'm new to the fucking social media game, man. Shut up.
We'll get you there, Lofa. We'll get you there.
Thanks.
Ike, shout out to you too. You're the absolute best. I'll go ahead and sign off for all of us here. For Ike Taylor and our guests, Lofa Tatupu and Brett Davern, thank you for listening to a special cross-show edition of the Bleav in Steelers and Bleav in Seahawks podcasts. Ike and I will be back later this week on Friday. Going to start to break down the Super Bowl matchup between the Bengals and the Rams. But until then, take care and so long, everybody.
Peace.